Welcome back to our new Anno 1800 series. We're playing with crazy mods and a custom map. All of the AIs are a lot stronger, we have a lot of new ships like submarines or aircraft carriers, and we also have new tiers of population. And finally I created myself a custom map to make sure that we have a unique experience. I've pinned the list of all of the mods in the Anno 1800 channel of my Discord. Don't hesitate to check in the video description below if you want to see the link to join the community. And of course in the video description below you can also find the link to the playlist with all of the episodes for this series if you want to make sure that you start from scratch. Let's go back to our empire. Welcome to episode 24. We had a lot of things planned today, but you may remember that in the last episode we finished by building a cruiser class. This is what you can see over here. This is the biggest ship that we have so far. Remember, this is the size of a normal ship or a cargo ship, and all of these are way bigger. You can change the skin. There's a couple of skins. I like this blue one, even if obviously it's easy to see it for the enemy. This is a ship that's going to be quite slow, only 8 knots, but look at how big it is. I mean, looking really cool. Starting to create a fleet where I'm putting everybody to escort everybody. I've also created a few submarines. I'm creating a fleet of submarine. I feel like they are on top of each other over here, as you can see. They're all on top of each other. They're transporting, my heavy weapons from this old island we had over here to my real island. We still haven't moved that over. So yeah, come over here. They're sending all of these heavy weapons so that later in the episode we can also start building the other ones. We're sending even more mail through the empire. As you can see, for example, on our capital over here, we have all full in terms of mail, but I'm also giving the mail to everybody. They have all 3 for the artisan. Same for my engineers, they have all 3, and the same for the investors. I've also done the same over here for my workers and the farmers. They are getting everything. This island is basically done in the sense that I'm giving everything to everybody. This is the same in the new world where we're giving everything on our Manola, but also on this island over here I'm giving all type of mail to the Obrera and also all types to the Jornaleros. The next thing we wanted to really build from the last episode was the dam and the grand stadium. So let me show you that. Okay, we're now starting level 2 of the dam. And as you can see, this is 150 bricks, 150 steel. We also need 900 obreros and 30 minutes. After the foundation of this grand stadium that was just 300 reinforced concrete, for the level 2 we need 150 timber and again 300 reinforced concrete. So I'm bringing it again from the old world. 500 jornaleros, and we continue to progress with the dam. Phase 2 is finished. Now we move to phase 3 out of 3. We're gonna need 150 windows and reinforced concrete. We have the concrete, just missing a few windows. We'll get them from the old world, that's not a problem. And then 1,500 obreros. So make sure you do have quite a bit. We have 3,000, so all good. Let's start it. And we are now also at the final level for the grand stadium. 300 bricks, 150 steel, 150 concrete. This thing really needed a lot of concrete. And 1000 obreros, 30 minutes. Let's start it. And here it is, the stadium is finally finished. Let's look at it. Beautiful building on the outside. Not a lot of people right now because it's not working. To work, we're gonna need some electricity. No problem, how do we get electricity? Let's finish the dam. And here it is, this is basically the same dam that you may have seen in the Eden burning scenario. If you haven't seen this scenario, don't hesitate to check on the channel. We have played all of the scenarios, we have all of the badges, all of the medals. But yeah, now our dam is functional, so it is producing electricity. And the cool thing is that it's producing electricity for the whole island. You can see this is green all the way. That's amazing. With that, we of course have a lot of buildings now that have electricity, so will function even better. So we probably have way too many of some of the buildings. We'll also be able to start making milk just by having cattle farms or making salpetres directly here from our alpaca farms. So with that, it's gonna be a lot easier to produce the last few goods that we were missing for artistas. But the key thing, as I said, is that now the Grand Stadium can work. So let's access it and we can create a football championship, which will give us influence forever. We have the local, the regional and the world, 50 influence, 100, 200. Running cost, let's go for it. It will require, of course, some resources too. So as you can see, a couple of resources needed. But then the key thing I really wanted to do in this episode early was to boost my influence. I wanted to have a huge influence boost. Why? Well, every military ship takes a lot of influence, right? But the submarine is only 11, but this cruiser class is 15, the Yamato Class 25, the aircraft carrier 30, the battleship 28, and the dreadnought was 56. So I need more influence. There is a lot of ways to get influence. I'm not gonna share them all. Of course, the main normal one is just build investors. As soon as you build an investor, it's 3 influence per house. It's not linked to how many people you have in there, it's just per houses. So there is also, if you want, a bit of a cheat where you can have tons of investor house where you only give them electricity and nothing else, for example, and you get tons of influence. Then there has been ways, for example, with the palace. If you have town halls in range of engineers and you use one of the palace policies, you'll get some. But today I'll rather show you 2 new ways that you may not know about. The first one you probably know about, but still I wanted to cover it, is the normal skyscrapers. Skyscrapers for your investors or for engineers. A normal investor, as I said, is 3. If I go to skyscraper level 1, this is already 4, and then this will continue to increase if I increase to a higher skyscraper level. Similarly for my engineers, a normal house is 0 influence. If I move to skyscraper, here it is, I'm getting 1 of influence. So, we could definitely get a few of these here and there. Same for the investors here. We have a couple now, so that's giving me some influence. You may be wondering, wait, how come we can actually get to skyscrapers? In the last episode, we were giving cigars, chocolate, and the steam carriages, so I have changed that in between. We have, for the steam carriages, it's pretty easy. We just need 1 of these where we are using the steam motors that we have tons because we already had tons of them, so that was easy. And then we need some chassis. Chassis is just next door, taking the wood and the caoutchouc that we are already bringing. So that was an easy one to give. The chocolate and the cigars, we were already making cigar in the New World, but not that many. We were not making chocolate. And actually we're still not, because instead of actually making it, I am just buying it at Kaina. Malan Kaina is selling, a number of things, including chocolate and cigars. Of course, this comes back, every few minutes. So you, of course, cannot feed 1 million investors just with her. But given I only have a few, that was totally fine. That is working without any problem. So yes, this is the first way, getting some skyscrapers will give you more influence. But the real one that you may not know is the one I'm going to show you now in the New World. We're going to do what I call an influence farm. To do that, it's not that hard. You just need 3 steps and you basically only need timber and a bit of money. You take any new island. So the first step is you're gonna place a town hall and you're gonna place churches. As you can see, this is a lot of churches. They don't even have access to a road and they're not gonna burn, don't worry, it's fine, as long as they're not connected. And you're gonna place a couple of items in this town hall. Of course, maybe you can't find all 3 of those, and then you'll just need more churches. But if you have all 3, as you can see, we don't actually have a lot of churches built. Why? Because if each of those items will give attractiveness for the church. For example, this one, 10 attractiveness for a church, this one 7, and this one 7, right? So now that means that with this chapel over here, I'm getting 24 just for 1 chapel. So with all of those chapels over here, I'm getting more than 1,000 of attractiveness. Then step number 2, build an hacienda. And then in the hacienda, you're gonna want the hacienda quarters. Start building them. You don't need to build first the Jornaleros quarter. You can go directly to the hacienda quarter and you start putting them. If it's an island that has no population, your radius will be quite small at the beginning. So you start by putting the hacienda quarters close to it, but then quickly it will expand. Right now, for example, it expands so much I can't even use it. So of course, the bigger the island, the better, because you're gonna put even more and even more. You don't need to give them anything, just the hacienda need is enough so that they don't burn. Of course, you may want to put something like here and there, a few chapels, just so that they are not super unhappy and revolt all the time. Similarly, you may want to put hospital, police station, and I've put over here the fire brigade. This is the mod, the big fire brigade. You can put the small normal one, of course. But yes, you may want to put those things so that the whole island doesn't burn, but that's basically it. You don't need anything else. And then the third and final step is you're going to choose over here the policy local assembly. This policy is only unlocked when you have 1000 of attractiveness, which is why we made sure to have that. And then once you do it, as you can see, each of the Asie Obrera quarters will produce influence. So we're right now at 196. As soon as you select it, 1000 plus. So, this is a great way to farm influence, in my opinion. Now we have 1000, we can create a huge fleet. So now with all of this, let's make sure that we really start building the fleet. Let's do our first Yamato class, and we're missing a bit of resources for the aircraft carrier, 500 of steel, 140 advanced weapons. But I'll definitely do that in between the 2 episodes, so that in the next episode, you'll see we'll have a fleet. We'll also make, I think, a couple more, battleship and dreadnoughts. I also wanted to make sure I correct a mistake that I made in episode 21. Big thanks to Selo, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, that highlighted this mistake in the comments. Of course, anytime you see something that you're not sure or you think I made a mistake, don't hesitate to put in the comments. I definitely read them all and answer them all. But yeah, in episode 21, I told you that this fort in Manola, you can't visit it. This is actually not true. You can. You see over here, there is a road. So we're gonna go over here. As always, do Ctrl Shift and R to go into first person mode, and then just use WSSD to move around. You can use space, to jump, Shift to accelerate. We're just gonna follow the road. The key reason I made the mistake last time is because, it is not highlighted as a route, right? You have the yellow and the red. I showed you the red last time, but this fort, right, that is at the bottom, we didn't really see a road, but actually, yeah, we can go. Yeah, let's continue. Sometimes you need to jump a bit to get above some rocks. Yeah, we're entering the fort now, and we can actually really go into it, to the top. Let me show you. Here you have an interesting view. Don't fall. I think that would hurt. Continue just moving up here. And here it is. We are really inside the fort now, right? We have over here a cannon. You see the rest of the fort. Just disappointed I can't shoot the cannon over here. That would be great. You can continue to go up over here, and I think that's pretty much it. I don't think you can go a lot more places inside this fort, but yeah, still very cool. I love this first person mode. It's crazy that in a city builder like this, they still created this. And then you can try to shoot the boats as they come by. Fire. More seriously, thanks again, Selo, for highlighting this. We're in April, so maybe let's not talk to Father Christmas, and instead, we're going to conclude this episode over here. I know this is a shorter episode than usual. I'm sorry about that, but I wanted to make sure that we focus this episode really on this influence boost, so that next time we can focus on actually having a huge fleet and going back to war. This is going to be a really packed episode next time. Don't hesitate to share if you have any comments, thoughts, questions in the comments below, to smash the like button, and I hope to see you next time.